Welcome to CNTV. I'm Brad Claunch along with Quinn Tran.
Our top story takes us to the newly opened First Americans Museum in Oklahoma City. The Chickasaw Nation announced the construction of a more than $300 million resort and indoor water park adjacent to the museum. It will serve as a significant tourism and hospitality venue. The 11-story resort hotel features more than 400 rooms. At the center of the property, guests will enjoy a 5-acre outdoor adventure lagoon comprised of a main body of water and two smaller sections of water, all lined with sandy beaches. Other highlights of the resort include a 100,000 square foot indoor water park, a family entertainment center, conference space, spa, golf simulator, retail outlets, and dining options. Also on site, a Native American market and an amphitheater. Construction will be completed spring of 2024. Governor Bill Anatubby says Okana Resort and Indoor Water Park will complement the First Americans Museum and connect visitors to other entertainment experiences along the Oklahoma River. Estimates for the 10-year economic impact of the new development are projected to exceed $1 billion, with employment opportunities of approximately 800 full-time jobs.
A Chickasaw citizen says he ran, biked, and swam just for exercise. That healthy routine soon became preparation for a serious fitness competition.
Chris Wallace, a graduate of West Point and Vanderbilt Medical School, is an Army captain, an orthopedic surgeon, and now a triathlete.
I just try to fit it in whenever I can.
He spoke with us from Spokane, Washington, just days after completing his first Ironman event.
Some of my best friends from college, they got into these, and, it was they kind of prodded me initially, just saying, hey, you should try these. And then being in the military and was always, looking for ways to stay active and healthy because, as you know, we get, fitness tests and things like that. But I never really had any kind of goal with it. I was just kind of working out to say that I was working out. And so it was nice to be a little bit more goal oriented. But then when the pandemic hit, it was the perfect time to, gym shut down, and it was the perfect time to just get outside and run and bike and swim in the lakes. So it all kind of just, funneled that way to helping me be really focused on it.
For those who may not know what an Ironman competition entails, tell us about what it involves.
Yeah, so there's a couple different levels of Ironman competitions. The one that I was involved in was a half Ironman, or Ironman 70.3. And so it starts out with a 1.2 mile swim. Then you go to a 56 mile bike directly from that. And then you hop off your bike and go for a half marathon, so a 13-mile run. So that's just the half, and that's what I just participated in. And then the full would be twice that for every event. I'm stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord up in Washington State, just about 35 miles south of Seattle. And it was the first time that this area actually hosted one. So it was the Washington half Ironman.
Which part would you say was the most challenging?
So I'd always been a pretty decent swimmer, and I was, fairly confident in my ability to do the swim. But I think the thing that surprised me the most was you have so much adrenaline going at the beginning of the race, and there's just a ton of people jumping in the water at the same time. And so I think all of the adrenaline plus bumping into people just got me kind of freaked out a little bit. And so I think for the first 10 minutes of the swim, I was like just kind of anxious and struggled to catch my breath and wasn't really going that fast. But then once I calmed down and just relaxed, I was like, all right, you got this. Then everything went actually really smooth after that. Yeah, the bike was just fun. I just love biking, and it was a gorgeous bike ride, kind of through the country out here. And then, yeah, the run was just something you have to push yourself through. It was definitely a pain, but I knew it was going to be a pain from the start. So I finished probably like a little bit beat over half the people in my age group, and then more than that in like the total race, which I felt was pretty good for the first one of these I had ever done. You see some people who of all ages who are just out there absolutely just dominating this thing. And so it's pretty inspiring seeing some of these people do it, older people, younger people, super skinny people, larger people. It was, doesn't matter what you look like or how old you are. Some people are just getting out there and and doing really well. But yeah, I was happy with my performance and my time. It took me just over 6 hours in the end, which yeah, I kept a steady pace and didn't have any issues. And I think the biggest thing for me too is afterwards I didn't feel horrible. You know, it's 3-4 days now afterwards, and I'm like, all right, let's get back out there and get running again. I don't think I ever want to do a full Ironman because that's just, you know, everyone talks about the people who do those, and it is just kind of crazy. You know, being in orthopedic surgery, I was kind of very aware of how my knees and ankles were feeling, and I was like, okay, I feel pretty good, but I think if I had to run any further, they would start breaking down. So I think that was kind of one of the biggest things. But two, just that, you know, I was just kind of surprised by just my own mental fortitude of just being able to get through it and just like keep a smile on my face the whole time. They make it pretty easy because so many people come out to support you and people are just there cheering you on. And I just was really surprised the whole time running that I was just like beaming basically. And even though I was, you know, struggling and kind of sore and in pain, just there's so much like positive energy around these races that it's hard to not be smiling when people are just out there cheering you on. So I think that was probably the best part.
Chris Wallace has such a unique life during his adolescent years. The Chickasaw citizen grew up overseas.
We'll continue our conversation with him in the next episode of CNTV and talk with him about his career in the military and medicine. In other news, the FDA expands the age group for the COVID-19 Pfizer vaccine booster to include those ages 18 to 64. Health officials say that immunity from vaccines wanes over time. That's why they're recommending the booster.
How long has it been since you had that second dose of your Pfizer vaccine? Would you wait until you got your booster? And it was 6 months. And that recommendation was based on, that's when they started seeing a little bit of that immunity from the first 2 doses start to drop. You still have significant protection, but that's where we started to see some of that immunity from the vaccines start to drop, that we started getting what we call those breakthrough infections. So infections with COVID-19, mostly from the Delta variant, even though someone was fully vaccinated. So that's why that 6-month period was chosen.
Register at covidvaccine@chickasaw.net to schedule the booster shot at a Chickasaw Nation Department of Health vaccination location. Bring your vaccination card and it will be updated on site.
Chickasaw Nation health officials also recommend a flu vaccine for everyone over 6 months of age. The flu vaccine reduces the risk of flu illness, hospitalization, and death. It does not protect against COVID-19, and that is why doctors say people need both the vaccine for COVID and for the flu. Doctors say it is safe to receive both, but people may want to space them apart to manage any side effects. Visit the Chickasaw Nation's website for updates on flu vaccination clinics, dates, and locations.
In response to the COVID-19 public health emergency, the Chickasaw Nation developed the EACH program. EACH stands for Economic Assistance for Citizens and Households. The new program offers direct monetary assistance to Chickasaw citizens living in households that have been negatively economically impacted by COVID-19. The one-time assistance payment is $2,000. Contact the EACH program to get information on eligibility and application details. We've been following the progress of Chickasaw citizens and employees participating in a diabetes prevention program.
It's called Life RX. Participants are learning about their eating habits and making lifestyle changes. Chickasaw Nation employee Brianna Stick shares with us her one-year journey in the program.
I had actually started seeing a doctor out at the medical center for some back problems that I was having, and she's the one who referred me to Life RX. And so I started the program July 27th of last year.
You took photos and even dated those photos to keep track of your progress. What did you see along the way?
I didn't like the photos in the beginning because I didn't really notice how big I had gotten. So the photos, whenever you look at yourself, it's kind of like, wow. Throughout that year, I did notice the changes in my body, the way that my clothes fit, the way that I felt. And in a lot of the pictures, you could see, just a big change in the way that my face looked and the way that just the way that my body overall looked. I just had more energy and more motivation, I guess you'd say.
What did the program entail? How did it get you there? And what results did you see?
It started out with weekly meetings we did over Zoom, and they would have session handouts through each one that kind of gave you lessons on prediabetes, how to eat healthier, ways that you can cook to make your meals, more healthy. And instead of focusing on what you can't have and what you can't eat, it's more of, okay, how can we make this healthier and making better choices? Instead of cooking your ground hamburger meat and leaving all the fat, you would cook your hamburger meat, drain the fat, rinse it with hot water, pat it with a napkin to, get as much of that fat off of there as you could. And if you put any type of toppings on there, you try to focus more on vegetables, things that are healthy, and try to cut back on things like cheese or sour cream, either eliminating them or replacing with something that was low fat or non-fat. And then we also did food logs where we logged everything that we ate every day, and also physical activity for the week, and just kind of checked in and did weekly weigh-ins also. When I started the program, my beginning weight was 210 pounds. And when I ended, my weight was 181. So I lost a total of 29 pounds. And my A1C levels went from a 5.9, which was in the pre-diabetic range, to a 5.4, which was under the normal range. I feel a lot better health-wise. I feel happier. I've done the fad diets where you lose weight really quick, but then as soon as you stop the program or later on, you gain all that weight back and maybe even more. And I've noticed that with the LifeRx program, the weight that I've lost has stayed off. And it's not something that I've had to, I haven't really had to try. The weight that I've lost, it just didn't come back. And I'm not having to constantly count calories, watch what I'm eating. It's a normal activity, normal routines, that I developed throughout the program. And now it's almost effortless. My husband, so he kind of got roped into eating a little bit healthier with me and having to get out and do more physical activity. And he actually lost, I think, 20 or 30 pounds also along with me, just kind of by accident. I feel so much better. And, I don't have the back problems anymore. I'm not having to take pain medication anymore. And I just feel better. I feel better about myself. I feel better, physical wise. And, my clothes fit better. I'm more comfortable with going out in public now. Before I really didn't want to see people because I had gained so much weight and I didn't feel good about myself and I didn't feel well. I was tired all the time and just wanted to lay down and not do anything. And, I think that, losing the weight and getting healthier, it's helped me to want to get out more and be more active and just really feel better about myself.
There's so many reasons why LifeRx makes it doable for participants. For instance, learning how to eat without giving up all of the foods you enjoy. More on that next time on CNTV.
To participate in LifeRx, participants must be 18 years of age. See full details on how to get involved by visiting chickasaw.net/LifeRx. Chickasaw Nation Productions has 2 films available right now on Netflix. Chickasaw Rancher takes movie viewers to the western plains of Indian country. The film is based on the life of Montford Johnson, a Chickasaw who endured great hardships and tragedies to establish a vast ranching empire along the Chisholm Trail. Expect a lot of action, drama, and adventure in this entertaining movie.
Mr. Thompson, your daughter has a gift.
The beautiful movie Teata can also be found on Netflix. The film shares the story of Chickasaw storyteller Mary Thompson Fisher, known as Teata. The movie depicts Teata's journey to find her true calling, performing on stage. Her audiences include dignitaries and royalty. Teata's story is inspirational for all ages. We're glad you spent time with us here on CNTV.
Quinn and I will see you back here soon.